Okay, next drawer who's up? It's Craig.
Hey,
Hey.
it's been a while. I'm sure Chris is going to say that I feel bad for stealing it. He could say it too if he wants. I didn't pre-write it because I feel like it's best to just say stuff from the heart. I feel like I'll get my point across almost better, just how I naturally feel. I'm going to talk to Sammy first because I'm going to give you the easiest time. You were my best friend I made in this game, hands down, and I'm really proud of how you've played. I'm one of the more biased opinions, along with Sassy, as how I feel your game was played. But I do have a question for you because, this game, kind of in the shadows, as far as I know it, you and Aaron's relationship, obviously, whether it was intentional or not, did, I guess, play a part. And I want to know, how long were you two aligned, and how long was this precursing relationship in effect for? And if the tables were turned and you were to run the game instead of Aaron, how would the game have changed for you? And just for your relationship, nothing else.
Well, so when Aaron came to me before the merge, that was really the first time that we'd talked solid game. We'd had pleasantries exchanged, but obviously we were on opposite sides of things. As with the Tyler vote, I didn't trust him enough to tell him I was voting that round. He took me out in the third immunity challenge. I was really pissed about that. So our relationship was a little rocky up until right before the merge, when we kind of came together and both seemed to be on the same page that the Chikara boys were running the game, and that he was, from my perspective, I told him I didn't think that he would have a chance to make it to the end with his current alliance, and that he'd be better served to work with us. I never offered him any concrete deal, but I did take the time to foster a relationship with him that would help use Sassy, Billy, and I, and Jeffrey. Obviously, that didn't work out right at the merge, but I kept kind of pushing, and eventually it worked out for Nicole and Eric and Aaron to all flip with us. If it would have played out the way that I wanted it to at the final 7, and Chris would have gone or Dana would have gone, I would have wanted the final 3 to be you, Sassy, and I, because that was my alliance the entire game. And I was always going to be loyal to you and Billy because that was my first alliance, and that's the truth. And you can believe what you want, but from the bottom of my heart, Craig, I had your back 100%. Everything I did with Aaron was for us.
I want to say I believe you because professionals are going to be released very soon, and there's no point to lie in the phone. Yeah. So everything you say, I'm going to take as concrete justice. Aaron. So first, I want to say congrats. Second, I want to say I hate you because you got me out of 4, but I don't hate you totally because I still like you as a person.
Thanks.
I do want to say your opening statement, I'm bringing it up now, had something that bugged me. And maybe I'm not sure about the rest of it. I did read it all. Some of it I'm just going to assume is fact. However, one of it wasn't fact, and that's that I offered Chris an alliance. And I don't know, I don't understand why you would believe someone who is thinking that he's on the bottom of a Final 4, why would you trust what he says? I don't understand that. And if that helped, and if that wasn't, if you didn't take that into consideration when tying the vote to get me out, that's whatever. However, that just shows that you were kind of easily manipulated in this game, how you could just take law like that, like a statement like that, and just assume it's true. So I want to ask you, how did you go about believing that? And I want you to prove me wrong. Tell me that you weren't easily manipulated in this game.
I'm a little confused. You said that
there was a statement. I'm sorry if I'm confused. I'm trying to. I didn't want to write anything before, but you said something in your opening statement that said I had a final 2 with everyone, so that made you feel like our final 2 wasn't genuine.
Okay. Yeah. Well, previously, before the vote and everything went down, I did approach Chris and I did ask him if you had come to him with a deal, because I had already figured that you and Sammy had a final 2 deal or some kind of deal, because you guys had been together the entire game and we formed a final 2 deal. So I did go to Chris and I did ask him, did he approach you? Did you guys have a deal? He said that you guys did have a deal or whatever. I mean, honestly, it didn't really sway me in voting you out because I kind of figured if I went to the final three with you and Sammy, I knew that you guys were going to go together.
Okay. But did you believe him? Or did you just...
I mean, part of me believed him, but honestly, he was playing the game too, and he wanted to make the final three.
Also, I said, I want you to prove to me that you weren't easily manipulated in this game by, let's say, just out of example, Sammy or by Chris. So can you give me examples of how you manipulated others, or just how you weren't manipulated?
I think one of the major examples was Daniel. I was able to tell him things. I was able to manipulate him, especially right after the Robbie vote. I was able to comfort him and tell him that it all went down a certain way when originally... sorry. Yeah, I think I was able to manipulate Daniel into believing certain aspects, especially when it came to the Robbie vote, when it came to the Jeffrey vote, when it came to Cody as well, and he kind of believed me out.
Okay. You kind of did. I also want to know why you chose to vote out Daniel. I think you answered it in your opening statement, but I would like to hear it, maybe to understand it better. Why you voted out Daniel instead of voting out Sammy in the final, I believe, 6 vote.
Yeah. Well, I figured if I had voted out Sammy, it would have been me, you, Chris, Nicole, Daniel. I had a final 2 with Daniel, so I kind of figured he was going to bring me to the end anyway. But I was unsure where Chris and Nicole really lied, and I was kind of apprehensive because I felt like they could have struck a deal with you at some point and tried to get me out or Daniel out, and then I kind of would have been on the bottom going into the final 4. So at least with Sammy, I knew she had to, so I knew that I was going to be in between 2 separate alliances. So either way, I kind of had an out.
Okay. Another question I have.
Last question, Craig.
Oh, no more questions?
No,
Oh,
last one. This is your last one.
Oh, yeah, it's my last question. You didn't really try in the final 3 immunity, and I don't know the story about it. Maybe you didn't have the time, but when I looked at the results, it said you didn't give a hand at it. Now, I know it was pretty much obvious you were getting taken either way by Chris or Sammy to the final 2, but I just want to know, because that's kind of a cocky thing, there are several people in this jury that would have fought hard for that final 3 immunity, and I feel it's almost an insult that you didn't even give a hand to it. So I'm just wondering why that was, if you didn't have the time, or if you just, couldn't be bothered.
No, I'm honestly, I had so much stuff to do. I had a, paper to complete that was due on the day that the challenge was, and I had been working at it all week long, plus I have, all kinds of assignments that I had to do. So, I didn't really have enough time to adequately start the challenge without doing, maybe 3 hours or something. I figured once I finished my paper, I was going to come home and start working on the challenge and try to get at least 5 or 6 hours in. But by the time I had gotten home, the results were...
Okay. No questions since Sandy's making me limit.
Sorry, you're pushing 10 minutes.
Thank you both. Congrats.
And our last juror, Chris. Your time, buddy.
And the best juror. It's the last and the best.
Save the best for last.
Last but not least.
Yes. I have some lovey-dovey stuff I was gonna say first. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
First for Aaron. I wrote it down because I'm gonna probably stutter as well. Aaron, I didn't think you did much in this game for the longest time. I was so anti your gameplay at first. But after Cody left, and I was shocked by him leaving, I had to open up my eyes to you in the way in which you positioned yourself for kind of the first time. I tried to bond with you on a personal level and also a strategic level. We had a bumpy road here and there, but ended up out being really awesome friends, I feel like. I want to let you know that you are such an awesome guy to talk with and to get to know when we finally were able to see each other without any like other sidebar kind of stuff. I felt like we could have been a strong team if we spoke sooner and trusted each other sooner. I think that our games went for a while very separate, and I'm glad things ended up the way that they did, and I got to talk to you on a personal level. I just want to let you know that you're an awesome person, and I hope to talk to you after this, regardless of what happens. And then for Sammy, Sammy, you are such a firecracker. I think that side of you that was loud, ambitious, and sometimes just like your pure emotion, like when the Billy boat and stuff, had rubbed a lot of people the wrong way at times.
Yeah.
I loved finally speaking with you on Skype after Robbie left, and the fact that I got to bond with this girl that I hated for so long but never really knew. This girl that had like a sly remark for everything during live challenges and tribal councils, who I didn't really understand but I hated.
Yeah.
Getting to speak to you on a one-to-one basis and to hear the moves that you made, like voting out Tyler, and what that move did for you from your own perspective was like helpful for me.
Mm-hmm.
And also to hear how hurt you were with the Billy vote from your perspective and how close you were with him and Craig, kind of helped me understand you a little bit more.
Yeah.
You were the one to beat for me for a long time. After Sassy left, I really thought I got you, and I thought I had a huge chance at taking the game over you. But of course, predictability was the last thing that this game was going to have in store for me. And I said, I fucking love you, and I wish you all the best tonight, regardless of what happens.
Thank
You
you.
guys are awesome. And I had a question for Aaron at first about the final six, but you kind of covered that already. And then for Sammy, I was going to ask you about Billy and Craig and stuff, but I feel like you kind of covered that, and about like people thinking you were kind of overly ambitious and stuff. I kind of just disagreed with that.
Thank you.
But here's the main question I have. I'm going to type it
Okay.
because I feel like I'm not being clear with my voice, but here it is, and I'll read it too. It's please list 3 things and explain why those 3 things were beneficial in getting you to the final 2. These things can be like different people, situations, vote-offs, immunity wins, idols, an alliance, or anything. Just the 3 most important, and why. So I'll go to Sammy first, and then Aaron, if you want to answer afterwards.
All right. I will just go in sequential order then, I guess. The first thing that I think helped me exponentially in the game was when I voted out Tyler. It was a really hard vote for me to make, but I knew that I had to play the game on my own terms, and that if Sassy left, that I would be at other people's disposal. And keeping Sassy pretty much binded us together to a point where she and I were not going to turn on each other, and she ended up even turning on Debbie and Kelman because she felt so indebted to me because of what I'd done for her. Then after the merge, I think a huge move that I made was at the final 6. I was pretty much dead in the water, I think, when we went to Tribal Council, and I basically was the one that told Aaron that he might be able to have a shot against Daniel, but I said to him that he would never get to the end if I left, and I didn't really think that, but I just wanted him to believe that so that he would keep me, because I was basically telling him that Craig would never work with him, but I think that Craig and Daniel definitely would have had the upper hand after I left, and I think he probably would have been in a lot better position to win the game. And then the last thing I think that definitely was my biggest accomplishment was going 19 hours and 50 minutes in the last endurance challenge. I knew that I was going to have to pull out all the stops because you're a hell of a competitor, and yeah, I knew that it was going to be you or me, because I figured Aaron, knew he didn't need it, whether, it was busy times for him or not, but I would say that's the last one.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And for Aaron, if you want to answer the same thing.
Well, the first thing I would say was that the vote to get Robbie out, I think, really was beneficial to me. I knew that, well, I didn't know, but I kind of figured that you guys, like the Shakara guys, were like a really strong group. So once he left, it kind of, like, I don't know, kind of positioned me in a way where I could finagle my way into 2 separate alliances even better. I would say second beneficial thing would have been that I was between 2 alliances pretty much the entire merge. I was able to leak information from side to side, tell people what was happening, and I felt like that really that helped me a lot because I knew kind of where my position was in the game at all times. And the final thing would probably be voting Daniel out, because I get, once again, going into the final five with you, Craig, and Nicole, I kind of figured that I wouldn't have a chance to make it to the end. Whereas if I had, sorry.
No, it's okay. I stuttered too.
But I figured, like, if I had went with Daniel, I don't think I would have made it to the end, because I didn't know where the dynamics would have gone. Whereas with Sammy and Craig, I kind of knew that they were relying on me, and then I knew you and Nicole were too. So I knew that I was the deciding vote. I kind of figured that I had the upper hand, and I kind of knew where I went.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys so much, and good luck tonight. Regardless of what happens, I love you both. So, good luck.
Thank you.
You good, Chris?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
All right, guys. With that said, it's been 39 days. Started the game out with 24 people, 12 fans, 12 favorites back for a second cycle. There can only be one survivor. With that being said, the question and answer ceremony is now over. It is now time to crown a winner. One by one, I'm going to ask the jury to step on up, mosey over to the voting booth, which is me tonight, and cast your vote for a winner. Unlike the previous tribal councils, tonight you are voting for the person you want to win this game. So when you message me, type the name of the person you want to take home the crown. With that being said, Jeffrey, you can PM me.
Alright, hopefully I don't mess this up this time. Let's see what happens.
Robbie, it's time to vote. Eric. Cody.
Good luck, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sassy. Nicole. Craig. And last but not least, my homie from New York, Chris.
And Daniel.
Oh, whoops. Oh my god, I didn't forget Craig.
I'm so happy for once.
Hey, Daniel, you can vote too if you want.
He's just saving the best for last.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't see you all the way over there in Alaska.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
No.
Yeah, you're buried all the way under the snow. With that, folks, I have 7 votes. Unfortunately, I mean 9 votes. Unfortunately, we can't read them here in Japan.
What?
We're gonna have to wait till we get back to the States, and we'll be back. I'll reveal the votes back at CBS Studios live in Manhattan. See you then.
Yeah.